now we're going to get on to what we talked about. So it's demo time. So this, at Gamescom we showed you flying between locations, and that was our sort of V1 planetary tech. And I said that we have this V2 tech that you're not seeing. It's a whole nother level beyond what we were showing you. And the goal really is to sort of deliver that crisis level quality down on the ground, walking around, driving around, but on a global scale, right? So like most of these games, you look at Battlefield, you look at any of the sort of typical FPS, so the Frostbite engine, what CryEngine does, I mean, they do beautiful stuff, but it's all limited to, 2 by 2 kilometers or 4 by 4 kilometers, or maybe if you're lucky, 16 by 16 kilometers. So for us, we want to have that level of quality, but on a planetary scale, and that is a big, big ask. The team in Frankfurt, who have mostly been leading this, are a lot of the guys that built CryEngine in the first place, and they are brilliant. And this has also been supported by a lot of the teams from the other studios, because a lot of our environment and the art and the content and the assets come from other places. But we are going to show you here, I'm going to show you a demo set in a planet. Now, we took a planet not necessarily that's in Stanton, because we wanted to have something that had more diverse ecosystems to sort of show you what the tech can do. And so this is the first time we're showing the tech publicly. Of course, like everything we do, it's going to get better and better. But it's a completely new terrain system. It seamlessly supports the sort of spherical terrain at planetary scale. So, most terrain systems are flat, whereas this, it's a planet, it's round, and you can go around every side, and the gravity and everything works. And the horizon line is the actual real horizon line. If you see something, you can walk to it. There is no cheating at all on it. It's all, I know, it's hard to believe it's not faked, I know. It's kind of like the moon landing, really. Anyway, but everything's everything's generated at runtime, because you can't have this amount of data in there, and it's amazing. And actually, when we show the demo, I think we've set up so you can sort of see the frame counter, because what the guys have done there, the game logic and the code and simulation slows everything down. Their actual engine generating the world is incredibly fast. So if you look at the top right, you'll sort of see when you're seeing the world, and you'll see it sort of drop. It's still going to be very fast, but you'll see the frame kind of drop when the game stuff starts happening, when you're moving around and stuff. I mentioned there's no view distance. It's artist-driven. So we over here, I'm going to have Sean and Simon, who I'll introduce in a bit. We'll do a bit more of a deep dive after I've shown you this particular demo to talk a little about it, but longer term, the ATV episode for Frankfurt is going to really go into some of the tools that we use. They're awesome. Was that Brian saying Frankfurt? All right, just checking. That voice sounded familiar to me. But the key is that it's absolutely artist-driven. So we're using the procedural techniques, and we're using all this stuff to just basically author planets at a global scale very quickly, but to give it real sense and character, because there's obviously quite a few other games using sort of procedural tech to do planets, and I have to say the technical achievements are all like really impressive and cool and all the rest of the stuff. But for me, I want to sort of be able to say, I want to build this, planet that looks like Hoth, and I want to build this planet that looks like Tatooine, right? I want to have the sense, and I want to be able to control it. And so the big key for the tech we were doing was to have it sort of artist-driven with the procedural technology enhancing what the artists do. And so that's what we're going to show here. The other aspect of it, because it's not just about procedural artist tools, we're also trying to think about how we're creating content for this universe so you can explore and adventure around. And it's not just the interactions with the other players, but we have a rich world that's sort of going on, and there's missions that you can sort of stumble across, or AI are doing things. And we showed at Gamescom sort of an example of coming across a space wreck. You have to retrieve a black box from a destroyed Starfarer. And what we're planning to do is have sort of a combination of sort of the simpler missions, which are mostly generated, like, oh, well, this location needs this kind of mineral, so they're creating a job for someone to bring it to them, or go and fight the pirates that are getting in the way of the trade lanes. And then there's the sort of more in-depth stuff, which we sort of showed with the Miles Eckhart mission in the Gamescom demo. And what we're showing here is sort of the version of that that was more planetary focused, where we build different building blocks and players could come across it and do it. You know, to have a rich living world that they're going to adventure around. And so that's sort of the missions that sort of have these scripted blocks that sort of can procedurally sort of connect to each other and have maybe different situations or outcomes depending on what's happening. And that's something that Todd Pappy, who's not here today, who's our design director, and Tony are very big on, and I think it's going to be really cool.